Hi family, nice to come back to you again. Yeah, so what's trending in Ghana? I think there are two key issues that are trending in Ghana. One, as we all know, the arrest of, or shall I say, the unlawful arrest of the protesters who embarked on a peaceful protest to highlight the issue of the destruction of the water bodies and the forests in Ghana, which has become a major problem because it's reached a crisis point. Okay, so that's one. Number two is the fact that there has been no policy statement issued by the government with regards to the way forward on what they're going to do about bringing this issue of Galamsey, as they call it, which is basically the unlawful or illegal um, mining or illegal small scale mining. Okay, or some people call it surface mining. Yeah, that's different from the deep shaft mining. Yeah, okay. So, as you know, this has been going on for quite a while, and because it was an illegal activity, it was unchecked, unmanaged, uncontrolled. It's getting way out of hand now. Okay, it's getting way out of hand, and lives are seriously at risk. Okay. What is totally, utterly, and completely shocking is the fact that the Akufo administration is not doing anything about it presently. I know they have in the past, and apparently this affected them, well, affected the government in terms of votes. Okay, so really, it's like it appears, even though it may not be intended, that the government doesn't want to deal with it, which is not acceptable. Okay, something must be done about it. Okay, something must be done about it. So these are the two things I'm going to talk about. I have spoken about it in the past, but so long as the innocent protesters remain in jail, okay, so they were arrested, detained, and remanded, okay, and it's supposed to be for 2 weeks. That the ordinary Ghanaian, okay, is the one who is really suffering from this whole thing. There are people with health problems. If some people take it upon themselves to go protest to highlight the plight of the communities around these polluted waters and the destruction that this illegal mining is doing to our forest, I find that very admirable. And if anything at all, these people are true patriots. And the last thing that ought to be done is to place them, under arrest and detain them and remand them, which is very unfortunate. So, yeah, so the two things that, you know, I'm asking the president to do, and I'm asking respectfully that he does as a matter of urgency, okay, is to one, release the protesters immediately, okay. Everybody is on board calling for their release. The youth are protesting. The labor unions. I know there's an imminent um, protest. Where they'll be hitting the streets to protest about this. So yeah, Ghanaians abroad, Ghanaians at home. Everybody's very concerned, and there is a disconnect between the Akufo administration or the president and the people. Something is just not right. Okay, I've known Akufo for quite a while, not personally, but I've known of him. Obviously, he is my president, and I have actually met him in person, I think twice. And in fact, before meeting him in person twice, I was at the airport. I was flying out of the country, and somebody pointed out, you know, Akufo Addo to me and said, "That's, an Akufo Addo." All right, okay. So that's the first time I saw him in person. I think he was flying out as well. And then subsequently, he became the Attorney General and, Foreign Secretary and then, President. And yes, so I think I met him when he was Foreign Secretary or Attorney General, one of the two. Yeah, I've met him at some corporate events. Yeah. And what I know of him is that he's a very decent and respectable person. He upholds very high values and principles. So I struggle to reconcile what is happening, okay, his inaction, and the person that he is, okay. He's a person, first and foremost, with a beautiful family and with a very distinguished career in law. As a lawyer, he's a human rights lawyer, okay. So I just don't get it. I understand that there's a lot of issues at play, okay, and unless you are in the seat as the president who was put there by a party, it's going to be very hard for you to understand and relate to the position he's taken. Okay, I appreciate the fact that we're in an election season. I think we're about a couple of months away from the elections, and so he has to tread very carefully. So the decisions that policy decisions that are taken, does not have an adverse effect on the party. Okay, but I think we need to get the equilibrium right. We have a government on the one hand and we have the state on the other hand. Okay, the state institutions must work independently. Okay, it appears, okay, and this it will be misconstrued that the police have been weaponized against the people. It would appear, even though that's not necessarily the case, that the law courts have been weaponized against the ordinary people of Ghana. It would appear that the Attorney General is taking decisions which does not sit well with the principles of law, because how do you prosecute these people who is just not right? It's unheard of. It's very bad, and I think the right things must be done. Okay, so I'm calling on the president to release the protesters. That's one. Two, we need a policy statement on mining, okay, specifically small-scale mining, okay. And I think in my previous video, I did say that there should be a ban, an outright ban, for an indefinite period until we can bring this whole illegal mining under control. Currently, we are in a crisis situation, so we need to do crisis management, okay. So, Mr. President, please, with the greatest respect to you, please give an order for the release of the protesters, one. And two, we need a policy statement directly from you, not the Minister of State, directly from you as the president of the land, on what steps you're going to take, okay, to bring the situation under control. I would say, issue a statement banning small-scale mining for an indefinite period, okay. Also, going forward, I believe that once, even in the first instance, okay, it will be easier. Okay, the two things that are before the president: the release of the protesters, and then you've got the banning of small-scale mining. Between the two, I feel that it will be easier for the president to have the protesters released. Okay, and I know it's a more difficult and a more harder and more complex issue to say we're going to ban small-scale mining, okay? But it has to be done. It has to be done. For the interest of the nation, it has to be done, okay? So at least releasing of the protesters, or immediate release of the protesters, will re-establish, goodwill between the people and the president, okay? So I repeat, releasing the protesters will re-establish goodwill between the people of Ghana and, the president and his administration. Currently, the credibility of the government and the president is bad. I have no affiliation to any political party, so I speak freely. I'm not bound or restricted. When you have people speaking on these things, a lot of the time, they're tied to some political party or another. So it makes it difficult for them to actually speak freely. Okay. What I'd like to see is all these people that have put themselves forward to become the president, for whoever wins. Okay. I would like them to issue a policy statement on what they will do if they become president about small-scale mining. Okay. But I don't. I think they've all been silent. I don't think anyone has actually said anything, about what they're going to do. The whole political space is, I think, trading insults instead of actually marketing themselves very well and telling the ordinary Ghanaian what they would do in terms of healthcare, in terms of education, how they're going to deal with the infrastructure deficit that Ghana has. Okay, how they're going to deal with sports. Looking at the state of our stadiums is really appalling. Okay, how they're going to deal with environmental issues, this mining issue, there's a raft of things that they at least they could be marketing themselves with. Okay, instead, all you see is that throwing, making snidey comments and throwing attacking each other. There's no real constructive engagement with the public, okay, about what they're going to do. Okay, so it would be good to have, some, whatever their manifestos are, tell the public, okay, what you're going to do when you become the president of the land. Okay, scaling down the size of the governance structure. We have countless ministries and countless ministers. A country like Ghana cannot afford to carry that many public officials. Okay, the president does not need that many cross-country vehicles. Where feasible, where ministries can be merged as one, and one person handling, two portfolios or something, whatever it is to cut down on cost. Okay, the expenditure, burden is just too enormous for the taxpayer to carry. Okay. Yeah, so like I said, releasing the protesters immediately would, be a great way forward in terms of re-establishing, goodwill between the people of Ghana and the president and his administration. Okay, that rapport will be there, and issuing a policy statement with regards to the illegal small-scale mining, where it should be nothing short of a ban, an indefinite ban for a while. Okay, I believe that will be the way forward. Okay, so these two things, if the president can do these two things, okay, starting with the immediate release of the protesters, that will be fantastic. Okay, it's not fair, it's not right. It's unjust. You cannot lock people up indiscriminately. When they haven't, there's no real justification for it. Okay, then it gives an erroneous impression that the police have been weaponized, because the police is an institution of state, not an institution of government. Okay, the judiciary, okay, and the courts are an institution of state, not an institution of government, okay, and so on and so forth. So we need to have an immediate release of the protesters. We are calling on you every day, Mr. President, with the greatest respect to you. Please be kind, be considerate. Okay, you're a very God-fearing person. So I'm personally pleading with you alongside all the people that are, respectfully asking that these people be released. Okay, they shouldn't have been arrested in the first place. Okay, and then furthermore, also for a policy, statement on small-scale mining in Ghana. And in my view, there should be an indefinite ban. Okay, and then some, like I said in my previous video, some committee put in place to do a comprehensive audit, and then the findings can then inform what actions are going to be taken going forward. Okay, obviously this will have to include the redeployment of these young men because they don't have anything to do. That's why, out of desperation, they find themselves coming away from farming and doing these illegal mining. Okay, the risk is enormous. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna end this video and say a big thank you to everyone who's tuned in to listen or who comes to my page to listen, and I would appreciate some comments you have. This is in terms of anything that you feel that I've said that you don't agree with me. Please feel free and obviously express it, because I always say that knowledge does not reside in one person's head. We're all learning. We're a family. We're growing this channel together. Okay. This channel is about social justice that relates to anything that affects us as humans, which is an injustice, really. So this is a voice for the voiceless. I would also appreciate that you like and share this video, and most importantly, subscribe as well. Okay, please subscribe so we can grow this channel, so we can build a community. And obviously, once you subscribe, you're a member of this family. It's a social justice movement. We're about the ordinary people. We're not about the elite. The elite. Elitism is the root cause of all the problems of this world. Okay, we don't exist in a feudal system. Okay, this is supposed to be a democratic dispensation. Okay, where rights are guaranteed under the Constitution. Okay, so freedom of expression, freedom of association, freedom of assembly, etc., etc. Okay, and if you see governments, especially in African countries, trampling on the rights of their citizens, that's very sad and very unfortunate. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it, and very grateful. Okay. Stay blessed. Okay. Bye bye.